The rain-slicked streets of Manhattan gleamed under the sodium glow of street lamps as I clutched the soaked manuscript in my trembling hands, the words blurring into accusations I never saw coming. I lost him to the shadows of expectation. My husband had written page after page of raw confession, as if our 10 years together were just a footnote in his epic of regret. But there, in the final line, he named me. Not as his anchor, but as the chain that drowned his soul, forcing me to wonder if the man I loved had ever truly seen me at all. I remember the exact moment I first laid eyes on Dylan Harper. It was a sticky July evening in 2012, the kind where the Hudson River air hung heavy with the promise of thunder, and the West Village buzzed with that electric mix of tourists and locals chasing the last scraps of daylight. I was 25, fresh out of NYU with a journalism degree that felt more like a noose than a key to the world, crashing on a friend's couch in a walk-up that smelled faintly of weed and regret. Ethan Caldwell, that was me then, wide-eyed and broke, hustling freelance gigs for indie mags that paid in exposure and instant ramen. Dylan was across the street at that hole-in-the-wall bar, the rusty anchor, nursing a whiskey neat like it was holy water. He was 30, already carrying the weight of the world on those broad shoulders. His blonde hair cropped short in that military fade he'd kept from his brief stint in the reserves. Family legacy, he'd later tell me, Harper's from old money in Connecticut, the kind that built fortunes on shipping lanes and whispered deals in smoke-filled boardrooms. But that night, he looked like any other guy nursing a heartbreak, his blue eyes scanning the crowd with a hunger that pulled me in like gravity. Our eyes locked through the drizzle-speckled window, and something shifted. Not fireworks or violins, nah, more like the quiet click of a lock tumbler giving way. I crossed the street without thinking, dodging a cab that honked like it owned the asphalt, and pushed through the door. The jukebox was crooning some Springsteen ballad about blue-collar romance, and the air was thick with cigarette smoke from the back alley crowd. "Hey," I said, sliding onto the stool next to him, my voice steadier than my pulse. "You look like you could use a refill. Or a distraction." He turned, slow, like he was sizing up a storm cloud. A half-smile cracked his face, the kind that didn't reach his eyes. "Distractions overrated. But whiskey, yeah, that I'll take." We talked for hours. Or maybe it was minutes. Time blurs when you're young and stupid with hope. He told me about his job at the family firm Harper & Sons Investments, crunching numbers for trusts that span generations. "It's not what I signed up for," he admitted, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. "Wanted to be a writer once. Stories about real people, not balance sheets." I leaned in, the bar's warmth seeping into my bones. "Then write 'em. Screw the suits." He laughed, a low rumble that vibrated through me. "Easy for you to say, kid. You got that fire. Me? I'm just the good son, keeping the empire afloat." That night ended with my number scrawled on a napkin and his hand brushing mine as he paid the tab. We didn't kiss, not yet, but as I walked back to my couchsurf haven, the city lights smearing like wet paint, I felt it. The spark of something dangerous, something that could burn us both. Weeks turned into a whirlwind. Dates in hidden speakeasies off Bleecker Street, where we'd whisper dreams over craft cocktails. Picnics in Washington Square Park, feeding each other strawberries while buskers strummed folk tunes about lost loves. Dylan was a storm wrapped in silk. Fierce debates on politics over diner pancakes at 2 a.m. His passion for civil rights flaring like a match when we'd march in pride parades. Rainbow flags whipping in the wind. But there were shadows too. Late-night calls from his father, Harlan Harper, the patriarch with a voice like gravel over glass. "Dylan, the board's watching. Keep it clean." I didn't pry at first. Love's blind like that. But one autumn night, as leaves crunched under our boots in Central Park, he stopped under the glow of Bethesda Fountain and pulled me close. His lips were soft, urgent, tasting of cider and confession. "Ethan," he murmured against my mouth, "you're the first real thing I've had in years." We tumbled into my tiny apartment, hands exploring like cartographers charting new lands. It wasn't about heat or frenzy, just connection. Two souls fraying at the edges, finding solace in each other. Afterward, tangled in sheets that smelled of him, he traced patterns on my chest. "I was engaged once." he said quietly, the words heavy as lead. To a woman. Family thing. But she wasn't. It wasn't right. I propped up on an elbow, heart twisting. What happened? Her name was Claire. Sweet girl, but it was all theater. Dad's idea. Seal the deal with the Whitmans, old rivals turned allies. We called it off last year. Messy. But it freed me. To find this. His fingers laced with mine, and I believed him. God, how I believed him. Winter came harsh that year, snow blanketing the city like a shroud. Dylan's family ramped up the pressure. Holidays at the Connecticut estate. A sprawling Tudor monstrosity with staff that moved like ghosts. I tagged along once, feeling like an imposter in my thrift store wool coat among the crystal and cashmere. Harlan sized me up over brandy in the library, his eyes cold as the sleet rattling the panes. Journalism, eh? Chasing stories. Just don't chase the wrong ones, son. Dylan squeezed my knee under the table, a silent promise. But later, in the guest wing, he confessed over stolen kisses. They're grooming me for the corner office. Marriage is next on the list, strategic, you know? To some blue blood type who'll look good on statements. My stomach dropped. And us? He cupped my face, fierce. Us is real. They'll never touch that. Spring bloomed defiant, cherry blossoms rioting pink against the gray skyline. We moved in together. A loft in Soho, exposed brick and sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. I landed a gig at the Village Voice, profiling queer artists shaking up the scene. Dylan started scribbling in notebooks again, late nights at the kitchen island while I edited copy beside him. This one's about a guy who trades his heart for a crown, he'd say, winking. Sounds familiar? But the cracks were there, spiderwebbing silent. Calls from Connecticut grew frequent, Harlan's voice leaking through the phone like oil. The firm's vulnerable, Dylan. Investors whispering about stability. A union could steady the ship. I ignored it, buried in bylines and Dylan's arms. Until the dinner party. Summer 13, our place packed with friends. Drag queens from the clubs, poets with tattoos like manifestos. Laughter echoed off the walls. Wine flowing like the East River. Then the door buzzed, and in walked Claire. Not the ex, but her brother Whit Whitman. Tall, polished, with a smile that cut like glass. Heard you boys were throwing a shindig, he drawled, southern lilt masking the edge. Dad sends regrets, but business calls. Dylan stiffened beside me, but played host. Whit cornered him by the charcuterie, voices low. I caught fragments. Family expects. Alliance. Your father's health. Dylan's jaw clenched, but he nodded, glancing my way with apology in his eyes. Later, as guests thinned, Whit clapped Dylan's shoulder. Think on it, Harp. For the legacy. He nodded at me, polite poison. Ethan, right? Keep writing those pretty stories. The door clicked shut, and Dylan poured a scotch, hands shaking. It's nothing. Old ties. But it wasn't. That night, as thunder rolled in from Jersey, he held me too tight, whispering, I choose you. Always. I clung to that, even as the storm gathered. Fall brought proposals, not the ring kind, but ultimatums. Harlan summoned Dylan to the estate, a summit that stretched 3 days. I paced our loft, phone silent, until he returned hollow-eyed, a ghost in his own skin. They want me to marry, he said flatly, collapsing onto the couch. Not for love, for optics. Gay marriage is legal now, Obergefell this summer. But to them, it's still a scandal unless it's palatable. My throat tightened. Palatable how? Someone from the right circles. Stable. Discreet. He met my gaze raw. I told them hell no. Relief flooded me, chased by fear. We made love that night, slow and desperate, reclaiming each other from the shadows. But morning brought emails, board memos, stock dips, whispers of moral clauses in trusts. Dylan's writing stalled. His notebooks gathered dust. Then the accident. November fog cloaked the FDR drive as Dylan drove back from a client meeting in Brooklyn. A truck hydroplaned, slamming his sedan into the guardrail. I got the call at 3 a.m., heart-stopping as I raced to Mount Sinai. Broken ribs, concussion, glass shards like accusations in his skin. But he woke, groggy, squeezing my hand. "Ethan, don't leave." "I won't," I vowed, kissing his knuckles. "Never." Recovery was a grind. Physical therapy in our loft. Me feeding him soup while he grumbled about feeling like chopped liver. But it bonded us deeper, or so I thought. Laughter returned, tentative over bad Netflix comedies. "You're my plot twist," he joked one night, head in my lap. "The hero who sticks." Holiday lights twinkled early that year, and with them, a fragile peace. Until New Year's Eve. We toasted in Times Square, the ball dropping amid confetti chaos, his arms my harbor. "To us," he murmured, "against the world." The world, though, had other plans. Spring 14 dawned with cherry bombs, figurative ones. Harlan's health cratered, pancreatic cancer, stage 4. Dylan flew to Connecticut weekly, returning drained, smelling of hospital antiseptic. "He's pushing the merger," he confided one night, staring at the skyline. "Whitman-Whit merger. Marry their daughter Claire's cousin, Lila. Seal it before he goes." I froze, fork midway to my mouth. "And you? Fight it." But his voice cracked, and I saw the fracture. Duty's vice tightening. We argued for the first time. Ugly voices echoing off brick. "This is your life, Dylan. Not some medieval pact. You think I don't know? But Dad, he's dying, Ethan. And the firm, it's everything he built. Everything but you." He stormed out, returning at dawn with roses and regrets. "I'm sorry. I love you. We'll figure it." We did, or tried. Summers of escape. Road trip to the Cape, salt air healing wounds, bonfires where he'd read me drafts of his novel. A tale of forbidden love in gilded cages. "This character's based on us," he'd say, eyes shining. But autumn winds carried Harlan's decline. Hospice in the estate, Dylan at his bedside. I visited once, holding Dylan's hand while Harlan wheezed platitudes about legacy. "Take care of him, boy," he rasped to me, mistaking tolerance for approval. Harlan died in October, leaves turning blood red. The funeral was a circus. Suits and sobs, eulogies glossing over the man who'd ruled with iron. Dylan inherited the throne. CEO of Harper and Sons, the weight crushing him. Grief twisted him. Writing vanished. Nights blurred into bourbon. "I can't lose this too," he'd mutter, staring at ledgers. Then the proposal. Not to me, to Lila Whitman, poised and porcelain, at a gala for the firm's centennial. I wasn't invited. "Business, babe. Keep it low-key." I watched the society pages the next day. Harper air pops the question amidst merger buzz. My world tilted, phone slipping from numb fingers. He came home late, reeking of champagne and lies. "Ethan, wait. It's not what you proposed." Flat, disbelieving. "A arrangement, on paper, for the company. We keep our life separate." Rage boiled. "Our life? This is a sham marriage, Dylan. For what? Stocks and handshakes." He crumpled, tears carving tracks. "Dad's ghost. The board. I can't let it fall. And me? Collateral? No. God, no. I love you. This changes nothing." But it did. The wedding was swift, civil, Vegas to dodge paparazzi. Lila in white silk that screamed transaction. I wasn't there. Couldn't stomach it. Instead, I drowned in Soho bars, toasting to fools. They returned married. Lila decamping to a penthouse uptown. Their union a ghost. Dylan crawled back, begging. "It's fake. You're my truth." I forgave, because love's a stubborn weed. We rebuilt, cautious, dinners in, his hand in mine under starlit roofs. But the manuscript seeds were sown then, in stolen moments when guilt gnawed him. Years blurred. 2015. Obergefell nationwide. Toasts in bars to equality we half-tasted. Dylan climbed the ladder. Lila's role, fading to photo ops. We traveled. Asheville cabins, where he'd whisper sonnets against my neck. But 2018 cracked it. Lila announced a pregnancy. PR stunt for heirs, frozen from a donor. Dylan shattered, pacing our loft. It's killing me, Ethan. This lie. End it, I urged. Can't. Empires teetering, scandals, recessions. So we endured. Love a flickering bulb in the storm. 2020. Pandemic lockdowns, the city a ghost town. We hunkered in Soho, baking bread and binging Spielberg films. Dylan wrote again, feverishly. A novel about lost love, pages spilling like blood. Catharsis, he called it. I read drafts, heart aching at the protagonist's plight. Forced into a loveless union, pining for a ghost from youth. Is this us? I asked softly. He hesitated. Inspired by. Then, betrayal's knife. 2022, Lila files for divorce. Irreconcilable. But whispers of affairs swirl. Dylan's name dragged through tabloids. Tycoon in turmoil. He confesses over midnight coffee. One night, week, after a bored fight. It meant nothing. The woman, a colleague. But it gutted me. How many nothings before I'm the nothing? We therapy hopped. Manhattan shrinks unpacking our baggage. Progress, fragile. 2025 now, and the manuscript drops like a bomb. His agent emails it. The lost chord. Advance 6 figures. I print it, rain lashing windows and devour. The hero loses his first love, a bohemian writer named Alex, to family edicts. Marries the forced one, nameless, a shadow, the chain. I forgot him, the hero laments. The man I was made to wed, because true love's echo drowned his voice. Me, the forgotten, the chain. I confront him at dawn, pages clutched like evidence. This is us, Dylan. But you erased me. He pales, reaching. Ethan, it's fiction. Fiction built on our bones. Tears hot. Did you ever love me? Or was I just the alibi? The fight erupts, words weapons. He storms to his study, door slamming like finality. I pack a bag, heart fracturing. The city's awake now, horns blaring judgment. Where to? Back to that couch? Or forward? Alone? But as I reach the door, his voice cracks from within. Don't go, please. I wrote it to remember, to fight for us. I pause, hand on knob. Rain drums relentless. Love's not a straight line. It's a maze of thorns and grace. And maybe, just maybe, our story's not over. The coffee shop on the corner of Prince and Mercer became my confessional that gray December morning in 2025. I sat in the back booth, the one with the cracked vinyl seat that stuck to your jeans like regret, nursing a black Americano that burned going down. Outside, Manhattan hustled oblivious. Commuters in puffer coats dodging puddles. Baristas calling orders like lottery numbers. Inside, my world hung by a thread. Dylan's manuscript splayed open on the table like an autopsy report. I'd left the loft at first light, bag slung over my shoulder, the weight of 10, no 15 years pulling at the straps. The fight replayed in loops. His voice breaking on remember. My own choked with erased. Fiction, he'd said. But stories don't bleed truth if there's no wound. And this one, it carved me out, left me hollow as the tin ornaments dangling from the shop's rafters. My phone buzzed, his name flashing like a warning. I silenced it, thumb hovering over delete. Instead, I opened a blank note, fingers flying. What if love's the ultimate betrayal? Not the act, but the forgetting? Journalism habits die hard. Even shattered, I chased the narrative. The barista, a non-binary kid with electric blue hair and a name tag reading Jax, slid a scone my way. On the house. You look like you need armor. I managed a ghost smile. Thanks. Rough night. Story of the city. They winked, vanishing into steam. I picked at the pastry, flakes crumbling like my resolve. Memories flooded unbidden. Our first pride after the wedding sham, 2016. Rainbow rivers snaking through Midtown. Dylan had hoisted me on his shoulders. The crowd a sea of glitter and chance. His laughter booming over love wins. I'd felt invincible. His hands anchors against the surge. Now, that win felt Pyrrhic, a trophy gathering dust. Another buzz, voicemail. I caved, earbud in. Dylan's voice. Ragged. Ethan, God. I'm sorry. Come home. Let's talk. It's not what you think. The book's a mirror, not a map. I see you. Always have. Lies or lifeline. I deleted it, but the ache lingered, a bruise blooming under ribs. By noon, I'd wandered to Washington Square, the arch looming like a judgment. Students sketched on benches. Jugglers tossed pins against the winter chill. I settled on the fountain's edge, dry now, concrete veined with graffiti hearts. Pulled out the manuscript again, flipping to the dedication. For the one who stayed even when I wandered. Me? Or Alex, the ghost lover, wild-haired and free in Dylan's prose? The character mirrored someone from his past, preemie. A college fling in New Haven, he'd confessed once over wine. My what if, before the family machine ground it out. Alex Whitaker, art major with a laugh like summer thunder, lost to grad school in California. We wrote letters for a year, Dylan had said, wistful. Then silence. Had he mourned that silence into a myth? Polished it until it outshone our grit? A text from my editor at The Atlantic, freelance now, after the voice folded in the digital cull. Pitch? Human interest, queer angle? I typed back. Marriage, memory, Manhattan. Working title, Forgotten Vows. Fodder from flesh. Classic me. Dusk crept in, lamps flickering on like hesitant stars. I texted Dylan, coffee shop. Now, neutral ground or as neutral as Soho got. He arrived disheveled. Hair awry, coat unbuttoned, blue eyes bloodshot. Slid into the booth opposite, hands outstretched like offerings. You came. Curiosity. Hope's sneakier. The barista hovered. Dylan ordered espresso, double-shot desperation. Silence stretched, thick as fog off the river. I read it all. I started, voice steady by will alone. The hero, you, pines for Alex like he's oxygen. The wife, prop, a prison. That's how you see me? The forced one you forgot. He winced, fingers drumming the table. No. God, Ethan, it's layered. Alex was youth, reckless. You're the depth. The choice I made, every day. Choice? You call Shotgun Vegas with Lila a choice. His jaw tightened. Survival. For us, if the firm tanked, we'd lose everything. The loft, your sabbatical dreams, that novel you're plotting. My turn to flinch. I'd shelved my book after his rise. Supporting the CEO meant late nights, galas where I smiled through side-eye. I shelved for you, and you shelve me in print. It's therapy, babe. My shrink said write the pain. Publish it? With an advance that buys our silence. He reached across, palm up. I didn't take it. The forgetting. It's guilt. For dragging you into this. Dads will had clauses, marriage or forfeiture. I thought it was temporary. A bridge. But years. They calcified. Calcified. Pretty word for concrete shoes. And Alex? You invoke him like absolution. Did you ever contact him? After. A beat, too long. Once. Last year. Curiosity. He's married now, kids. Happy. Jealousy spiked, irrational. And that freed you to mythologize? Freed me to see what I have. His eyes pleaded. You. Messy, real. The book's the elegy for what I lost before you. Not to you. Words. Honeyed. But manuscripts don't lie. They exhume. Prove it. Pull the book. He recoiled. The contract. Pull it. Or I'm gone. Ultimatum's bitter taste. He nodded, slow. Okay. For you. We left together, arms brushing in the cold. Back to the loft. Tentative truce. He called his agent en route. Voice clipped. Kill the release. Personal reasons. Relief washed, partial. That night we cooked. Pasta carbonara, his nana's recipe. Bacon sizzling like sparks. Over wine, he read from an old notebook. Pre-manuscript scraps. Poems for me, raw as open veins. See? You're in every line I've kept. I softened, barriers cracking. Bed called. Bodies seeking forgiveness in familiar rhythms. Gentle, reaffirming, no rush to claim. just presence. Morning brought coffee in bed, his head on my chest. "What now?" he murmured. "Rewrite. With me in it." He smiled, first real one in days. "Deal." Weeks blurred into cautious rebuild. I dove into my pitch, interviewing queer couples on memory's tyranny, how love warps under pressure. Dylan cleared his schedule, therapy doubles. We walked the high line, hands laced, discussing plot twists over hot cider. "Make the hero choose," I said. "Not fate, heart." He kissed my temple. Already did. But shadows lingered. Lila's divorce finalized. Alimony a gag on truths. Wick cornered Dylan at a fundraiser. Pulling the book. Weak. Harp. Investors spook easy. Dylan stood firm. My life, my call. Christmas neared. City aglow. We strung lights in the loft. Bing Crosby crooning from speakers. Gifts unwrapped. For him, a leather-bound journal. Blank pages begging stories. For me, tickets to Provincetown. Summer escape. Then the call. New Year's Eve. Dylan's sister, Becca, from Connecticut. Dads will contest. Lila's family claiming fraud. Emergency board meet. Midnight. He dressed, tie like a noose. Go back to bed. I'll handle. I didn't sleep. Paced, manuscript mocking from the shelf. Dawn broke, him returning ashen. They want the merger revived. Or the firm's gutted, lawsuits, sell off. And I said no. Walked out. Pride swelled, chased by fear. Consequences. Bankruptcy, maybe, but free. We collapsed into each other, the city waking to fireworks distant. Freedom's price, steep but ours. January thawed the rift. My article sold. Vows in the void, queer love, and the art of forgetting. Running Valentine's spread. Dylan cheered loudest, clipping it for his desk. He started fresh pages. Echoes unforgotten, hero confronting ghosts, choosing the steadfast over specters. I beta read, notes scribbled in margins. More Ethan, less myth. Spring bloomed, and with it, doubts whisper. Package arrived, Alex's return address, California postmark. Inside, a worn copy of Dylan's debut short story collection. From years back, inscribed, to the muse who slipped away, grateful for the spark. No note, but the timing, post-manuscript leak, pre-pull. Dylan paled, reading the inscription. He must have seen the buzz. Old friend gesture. Or reminder. Trust frayed anew. I confronted. Contact him again? Once for research. Closure. Research. Bitter laugh. On forgetting? Or rekindling? Ethan. Truth, Dylan. All of it. He sighed, deflating. I emailed after the accident. Lonely. He replied, life updates. That's it. Not nothing. Not us. The fight simmered, not boiled. We tabled it, focusing forward. But seed planted, doubt's vine crept. Summer hit, heat wave sticky. Provincetown called beaches, bike rides, lobster rolls under sails. Away from concrete we mended. Bonfires where he'd confess boyhood dreams. Yale quad kisses with Alex under oaks. It was puppy love, he said, sand between toes. You? Epic. I believed mostly. Nights in the dune shack, stars pricking velvet. His whispers poetry. You're my compass, Ethan. North true. Back in the city, fall crisp. My book deal landed memoirish, our story sanitized. Collaborate, I asked. Eyes lit. Twist on the tail. But October storm, Becca calls. Firms circling, proxy fight. What's leading wants you out, Dylan. Distraction. He armored up, meetings marathon. I wrote alone, words pouring pain. November Eve he came home late, scotch on breath. Signed the papers, stepping down. Relief crashed. You, free agent now. Time for stories. Embrace fierce. But in his briefcase, glimpsed, printout email chain with Alex. Recent. Coffee in the city? Catch up. Heart plummeted. Who's this? He froze. Old habit. Polite decline. But the lie scent clung. Show me. Chain scrolled. Nostalgia laughs, then, missed what we had. Manhattan magic. Dylan's reply, life's full now. Grateful. Enough? Or ember? Climax brood. I packed again, real this time. Can't compete with ghosts. He blocked the door, tears streaming. No ghost. You flesh, fire. Alex's echo, your symphony. Words again. But I pushed past, elevator descending like fall. Street swallowed me, rain sheeting. Cab to a hotel anonymous. Phone off, world muted. Dawn his text. Read the new chapter. All you. Attachment. Pages. Hero rejects the past, burns letters, turns to his love. In forgetting the myth, I found the man. Tears blurred ink. Human flaw, we betray to remember, remember to heal. I hailed another cab. Home. The hotel room on the Bowery smelled of industrial cleaner and stale hope. The kind of place where influencers staged urban decay shoots for Instagram. I'd checked in under a fake name, Ethan Reed, nod to a forgotten byline, and spent the night staring at the ceiling's water stains, mapping constellations from cracks. Dylan's chapter burned in my pocket, printed at a 24-hour Kinko's, words like lifelines or lures. By morning, the city's pulse throbbed through thin walls, horns, shouts, the eternal grind, and I knew running wasn't escape. It was just another chapter in our endless draft. I showered hot, scalding away the night's chill, and dressed in yesterday's clothes, rumpled as my resolve. The lobby's foam marble floor echoed my steps to the door, where a doorman nodded like he knew the script. Outside, the air bit crisp, November's teeth sinking in. Bleecker Street Market hummed. Vendors hawking chestnuts and scarves, steam rising like prayers. I bought a coffee from a cart, black and bitter, and walked. Toward home or away. Legs decided for heart. Soho unfolded familiar. Galleries with abstract screams in windows, boutiques peddling dreams priced in thousands. Our loft loomed at the end of Mercer. Iron fire escaped like a scar against brick. I buzzed up, no answer. Key turned smooth. Unlocked? Inside, quiet as a held breath. Dylan at the kitchen island. Head in hands, fresh pages scattered like fallen leaves. He looked up, wrecked, stubble silvered, eyes red-rimmed. You came back. Not forgiven. I dropped my bag, coat shedding rain. Explained. He pushed the stack toward me. Read it all. Then judge. I sat, coffee cooling untouched. The new chapter unfolded. Hero at crossroads, past siren call fading against present's roar. No Alex pedestal. Instead, vignettes of the steadfast. Nights in hospitals, pride floats, quiet mornings with coffee and crosswords. He wasn't the chain, the hero realizes. He was the key I forged myself. Tears pricked, unwelcome. This changes facts, reveals them. He leaned in, voice gravel. I wrote the first book to purge, to villainize the pressure, not you. But pulling it, that was choosing. Us over echo. I traced a margin note. Ethan's laugh thunder in drought. Flattery. Truth. He took my hand, pulse sinking. I've been blind, babe. Family machine wired me for duty, not depth. Alex was easy, youth's haze. You? Work. Every compromise. Every yes to staying. Compromise or cage? Bridge. His thumb stroked my knuckles. We crossed it. Now burn it. We talked till noon, words weaving repair. No grand gestures, just honesty raw as winter wind. He admitted the emails. Loneliness spike, post-Lila mess. But his words, hollow now. Yours echo. I confessed doubts. Felt like the also ran. The safe harbor, not the storm. You're both. Smile faint. And I want the squall. Lunch was delivery. Bagels from Russ and daughters lock salty as tears. We ate cross-legged on the floor. Loft's hardwood cool under us. Sunlight slanting gold. What's next? I asked, cream cheese on thumb. Us? Unscripted. He grinned. Boyish. Trip? No boards, no ghosts. Grand Canyon. Whim. Done. December dusted snow, city fairy tale fragile. We prepped escape. Backpack stuffed, playlists of road anthems. Dylan belting Dylan. Ironic. My book edits flew. Agent buzzing. Voice hits hard. Queer resilience. American grit. Dylan's fresh manuscript simmered. Agent wary post-pull. Risky, but real. He shrugged. That's the point. Christmas with Becca. Neutral turf. Her Brooklyn brownstone strung with lights. No Harlan ghosts. Just eggnog and her kids' chaos. Tiny humans orbiting us like satellites. Uncle Dylan, they squealed, piling on. He melted, scooping them up, and I watched, heart full. Good look, Becca whispered, elbowing me. Domestic suits you both. New Year's in Times Square redux. Smaller, our roof with neighbors, champagne popping under stars. Toasts to reinvention, his lips on mine as ball dropped distant. To chapters unwritten. January thought us further. Canyon trek. Red rock cathedrals. Mule trails snaking vertigo. At rim's edge, sunset bleeding orange. He pulled a ring. Simple platinum. No diamonds. Not proposal. Promise. If you want. I slipped it on, cool against heat. Want. Back east. February's bite. My book launch loomed. Reading at Strand. Crowd queerlit faithful. Dylan front row, eyes proud. Post-event. Bar crawl. You slayed, he toasted. But March whispered discord. Wit's proxy war escalated. Firm fractures public. Stocks tumbling. Dylan deposed. Boardroom ambushes. They're painting me villain, he vented, pacing. For choosing life over ledger. Fight. Settling. Buyout. Clean break. Relief mixed pride. Our empire now. April showers bloomed doubt anew. Package 2 from Alex. Inscribed novel, his own. Waves crashing. Tale of reclaimed youth. Note clipped. Heard about the pull. Brave. If ever in SF. Dylan trashed it, unopened. Done. But I saw the flinch. Tempted. Curious, once. Not now. He cupped my face. You're my horizon. May's warmth coaxed trust. We volunteered Queer Youth Center in Chelsea, mentoring kids navigating family phrase. Dylan's stories captivated. Love's not plot armor. It's rewrite. One boy, Jamie, cornered me. You two real? Or fairy tale? Real as rain, I said. Storms included. June pride. Floats thunderous. Our hands linked atop a truck bed. Confetti storm. Full circle. Dylan yelled over bass. July heat wave tested. His buyout finalized millions freedom's yoke. But leisure chafed. He itched for purpose. Teach? Creative writing? Queer lens? Columbia adjunct? I teased. Why not? August idle. Hampton's rental. Borrowed from Becca. Beaches endless. Waves crashing confessions. Regret the book? I asked toes in surf. First one? Yeah. Taught me. Forget at peril. September equinox. My book hit shelves, vows in the void, climbing charts, podcasts clamoring. Dylan ghosted forward. To the man who made voids visible. October winds howled warning. Wit's final jab. Leaked emails. Dylan's instability to investors. Fallout. Friends distanced, whispers at parties. Dylan cracked, bourbon nights returning. Am I poison? No. I held him. Catalyst. November gray. Center gala, us honored for mentoring. Speeches flowed, his voice steady. Love's the story we live, not sell. Post-party, hotel bar. Wit appears, scotch in hand. Slumming harp. Dylan stiffens. Moving on. With him. Sneer my way. The chain. I tense. Dylan erupts. Ethan's my liberation. You? Relic. Fists clenched, but security intervenes. Outside, rain sheeting, Dylan shudders. Sorry. Old poison. Heal, I said. We both. December circle. Anniversary eve. 15 years from that bar. Loft candlelit dinner his make. Steak. Rare as hope. Toasts. To not forgetting. Bed warm, body's map of scars and stars. Write our ending, he murmured. Open, I replied. Human. But January 2026 dawned fracture. Email from agent, Alex, inquiring collaboration. Dylan's ear for loss, my eye for reclaim. Dylan showed me transparent. Delete. I nodded. But seed? Sprouted. February frost. Center kid crisis. Jamie outed. Family fallout. We rallied safe house, legal aid. Dylan's calm anchored. My words wove safety nets. March thaw. Book tour pulled me west, SF stop. Alex's turf. Go, Dylan urged. Slay. At reading he attends unannounced back row. Q&A. Memory in love? Fickle, I said. But choice renews. Post, coffee invite, polite dodge. Dylan waits outside, grin. Proud. April bloom. His adjunct gig lands. Syllabus. Narratives of queer endurance. May's promise. We adopt a dog. Mutt from shelter. Named Echo. Walks in park, leash tangle like us. June pride again. Echo in rainbow bandana. Our float banner. Rewrite the script. July heat. Alex fades, married life note, closure. Augustese. Hampton's redux, waves kinder. September harvest. Dylan's manuscript done, keys forged. Dedication. To Ethan, chainbreaker. October blaze. Launch party. Us arm in arm. Wit's ghost. Vanquished. November grace. Jamie thrives. Thanks note. U2 beacon. December close. Anniversary. Bar revisit. Rusty anchor. Full circle, he toasts. To spirals. I correct. Upward. Love's not linear, betrayals etch, but grace gilds. We unfinished human. The rusty anchor hadn't changed much in 15 years. Same scarred bar top. Same jukebox wheezing Springsteen like a weary uncle at a reunion. But we had. Dylan and I claimed our old stools. The ones by the window where rain once framed our first glance. And ordered whiskey's neat. The amber glow a time machine. Outside. Manhattan's December 2025 pulsed with holiday frenzy. Skaters twirling at Rockefeller. Salvation Army bells clanging like ironic fanfare. Inside it was just us, echoes and embers. To us, Dylan said, clinking glasses, his blue eyes steady, no shadows lurking. The ring on my finger caught the light, a quiet vow against the din. To rewriting, I countered, sipping fire. The burn grounded me, a reminder. We'd torched the old drafts, emerged singed but whole. He leaned in, voice low over the hum. Remember that napkin? Your number, my lifeline. I chuckled, warmth spreading. You kept it. In your wallet, years. Still do. He fished it out. Yellowed, creased. My scrawl faded but fierce. Ethan. Call. Don't wait. The bartender. A grizzled vet named Mick who'd poured our first round. Ambled over. You two again? Looking good. Less haunted. Dylan's laugh rumbled true. Learning the ropes, Mick. We lingered till closing, stories spilling like overflow. Not the heavy ones, the light. That disastrous Cape trip when the rental's septic backed up, us laughing knee-deep in our own mess. Echoes first snow, the mutt burrowing into drifts like a furry avalanche. Homeward, arm in arm through slush, the city our confidant. 2026 unfurled like a fresh page. January's bite softened by Dylan's classroom triumphs. Columbia undergrads devouring his syllabus. Essays flooding on erasure in queer canon. I peek in, back row, watching him pace, passion igniting chalk dust motes. He's a natural, a TA whispered post-lecture. Like he's lived every word. He had. Nights we'd debrief over takeout, pad thai tangled as our early fights. One kid wrote about forced outing. He'd say, fork pausing. Echoed dad's pressure. Broke me. Fixed you. I'd correct. Foot hooking his under table. Us. February's frost brought my tour's tale, Boston, Philly, then home. Book climbed, Oprah nod, whispers of adaptation. Dylan fielded offers. Screenplay? Only if we consult. Protect the soul, I agreed. March equinox tipped light longer. Echoes adoption anniversary. Park picnic, frisbee flubs, and hot dogs. Becca joined. Kids in tow, her new partner. A soft-spoken librarian. Fitting seamless. Family 2.0. She toasted, juice boxes clinking. April showers coaxed green. Dylan's keys forged edits flew. Agent ecstatic. This sells heart, not schlock. Launch planned for June. Pride tie-in. But May's warmth unearthed old roots. Harlan's estate settled. Final papers. Lila's clawback stalled. We called Olive Branch. Coffee? Berry hatchets. Dylan declined polite. Past tense. I nodded approval. Ghosts grounded. June pride crescendo. Our float grander. Banner evolved. Endure. Rewrite. Love. Echo mascot. Bandana fluttering. Crowds roared. Rainbows arching post-storm. After party at Stonewall. Toast to Stonewall 2.0. Resilience remixed. July's haze-baked secrets. A student confession. Dylan's Alex chapter. Prairie Right. Leaked online. Pirated PDF. Forums buzzing. Harper's hidden heartbreak. Trolls tour. Betrayer in sheep's wool. Dylan raged quiet. Laptop slamming. How? Doesn't matter. I pulled him to couch. We know the arc. He deflated. Head on shoulder. Feel exposed. Like dad's watching, judging. He's dust. You're dawn. August retreat. Adirondacks cabin. Loaned by a student. Lake's mirror still, hikes huffing uphill. Evenings, fire crackle. His head in lap as I read his drafts aloud. This line, too pat. Tweak. Pencil flew. September harvest. My sequel pitched, echoes endured, companion to voids. Dylan baited. Margins alive, more fire. Like you. October blaze. Launch for keys. Barnes and Noble, Q snaking aisles. Readings intertwined. His hero's redemption. My voids filled. Q&A electric. Betrayal's bomb? Forgiveness. We chorused. Daily. November grace notes. Jamie's high school grad. Us proxies. Caps tossed skyward. Couldn't without you. He hugged. December loop. Anniversary bar hop. Then loft feast. Echo under table, begging scraps. But 2027 whispered pivot. January. Dylan's tenure track offer. Full prof. Queer lit chair. Accept. I asked, snow blanketing sill. With you. February equity. Center expands, our endowment seed. Anonymous. Kids named Wing. Caldwell Harper Haven. March bloom. Alex's final note, wedding invite. Polite pass. Closure. Dylan filed it. April rain. Book 2 sells big, film scouts circling. May's promise. Trip west. SF. No ghosts. Alcatraz echoes. But we laugh through. June pride eternal. Float leads now, veterans vanguard. July heat. Scandal echo fades. Fans rally. Petitions for real stories. August ease. Cabin redux, loons calling dusk. September syllabus. Dylan's class. Love's labyrinths. October launch mine echoes. Dual signing, lines merged. November thanks. Jamie college bound. Speech. You taught plot twists, pain to power. December close. Bar stools warm, whiskey's waiting. Spiral ascends. Betrayals? Scars, not shackles. Human weave, flaw, fiber, flight. The Adirondacks cabin in August 2027 smelled of pine sap and lake water. A far cry from Manhattan's exhaust tang. And for the first time in years, Dylan slept through the night without stirring at ghosts. We'd hiked the Northville Placid Trail that day, boots caked in mud, lungs burning up switchbacks that tested more than calves. Old insecurities whispered doubts about worth. At the summit, vista sprawling, endless green and blue. He turned to me, sweat sheened, and said, "This, no map needed." I'd pulled him close, wind whipping, and kissed the salt from his brow. Compass enough. Back home, September's rhythm settled like autumn leaves. Dylan's Love's Labyrinths, class-filled overflow. Queer undergrads packing the lecture hall. Notebooks frantic, questions sharp as switchblades. How do you unwrite betrayal? He'd pause, eyes finding mine in the crowd, then answer, "You don't. You annotate. Turn wound to wisdom." My Echoes endured tour wrapped West Coast, airports blurring into podcasts where hosts probed, from void to voice, cathartic, collaborative, I'd say, crediting him, Love's co-author. October's launches layered, his anthology companion to mine, joint events at indie shops where fans queued for dual signatures, Polaroids snapped of intertwined hands. One night in Brooklyn's books are magic. A non-binary reader teared up, "Your words, they made my maze mapeable." Dylan squeezed my knee under the table. Ours too. November's chill brought gratitude's glow. Jamie's going-away dinner, pre-Ithaca, spread at Becca's with her crew and ours. Kid in Cornell hoodie, braces glinting as he toasted. From closet to campus, thanks to anchors. Us, beaming, Echo at his feet, tail thumping approval. December's hush, 15th bar anniversary. Rusty anchor evolved. Craft taps now, but mix same. Pouring with wink. Still the lovesick pups? Evolved? Dylan grinned. Napkin fresh scribbled. Forever draft. 2028 dawned decisive. January's snow muffled Dylan's tenure vote. Unanimous. Champagne popped in his office amid confetti syllabus shreds. Professor Harper, I toasted, clinking mugs. Sounds official. Professor Caldwell Harper, he countered, ring glinting. When? My gut flipped the talk we'd circled. Spring. February's frost. Proposal proper. Central Park. Woolman rink edge. Skates traded for knees in snow. Ethan James Caldwell, he said. Box velvet, ring twin to mine. Marry me? For real. No clauses, no crowds. Tears froze on lashes. Yes. Hell yes. Word spread wildfire. Becca hooped. Center kids cheered virtual. Lila even texted. Congrats. Deserved. March planning frenzy. Small. Loft ceremony. Rooftop vows under cherry tentative. Invites handwritten. Guest list intimate. 50 souls who'd weathered our storms. April's showers. Wit's olive branch accepted. Coffee at neutral Starbucks. Truce signed over lattes. Water under, he said, handshake firm. Firm stable. Your path. Respect. Dylan's nod gracious. Bridge burned right. May's bloom. Bachelor eve. Boys' night at center. Mentoring flipped. Kids grilling us on happily ever afters. It's ever aftering, I quipped. Laughter echoed. June wedding week. Pride prelude. Our story float finale. Vows renewed. City roared embrace. Day of. Sun dappled. Loft transformed. String lights. Wildflowers. Echo in bow tie. Becca officiated. Voice steady. In joys and jars, do you recommit? I do. Ours synced. Kiss sealed. Cheers erupted. Reception rooftop. Skyline witness. Speeches salty sweet. Cake lavender frosted. First dance to Springsteen, his cheek to mine. Our hook. July honeymoon. Iceland. Geysers gushing like joy. Hot springs steaming secrets. Northern lights danced. His hand in mine. Fate's firework. Back August. Glow lingered. Dylan's sabbatical approved. Joint project. Queer memoir anthology. Voices amplified. September classes. Mine guest lecture. From byline to binding. October's blaze. Anthology pitches. Agents swarm. November thanks. Jamie visits. Cornell tales tumbling. Your books? Assigned reading. December circle. Bar stool perch. Whiskey's warm. 16. Dylan marveled. Best plot. 2029's promise. January. Anthology greenlit. February equity. Center gala. Us patrons prime. Speech duet. Love lifts. March harvest. Wit's wedding invite. Ironic declined kind. April rain. Book tour tandem. Cities conquered couple. May's grace. Echo pup joins. Litter mate. Chaos to his calm. June pride pinnacle. Float crowned legacy. July heat. Iceland echoes in dreams. August cabin call. Hikes higher. Hearts Lighter. September syllabus shared. October launch. Anthology soars. Dedications woven. November kin. Family swells. Becca's bundle. Jamie's grad school. December close. Bar faithful. Napkin packed. Eternal edit. Spirals soar. Betrayal's backstory. Grace foreground. Human hymn. Flawed. Fierce. Forever. The northern lights over Iceland's black sand beaches in July 2029 weren't just aurora. They were absolution, green veils waving like flags of surrender to whatever cosmic force had tangled Dylan and me in its threads. We chased them by jeep, tires crunching volcanic grit, stopping at a geothermal pool where steam rose like spirits released. Stripped to skin, we sank into the heat, his back to my chest, stars wheeling overhead. This, he murmured, head lolling, is the ending I dreamed. Not ending, I corrected, lips to his shoulder. Interlude. Back in Manhattan's Ma come August. The glow clung like salt on skin. Dylan's sabbatical bloomed into the anthology. Threads unraveled. Queer lives, rewritten. Submissions pouring from closets cracked open. Voices raw as our first napkin notes. We'd edit side by side at the kitchen island. Echo snoring at feet. Chaos pup nipping ankles. This one's you, he'd say, highlighting a piece on forced silences. Fierce. Yours. I'd counter, circling a tale of reclaimed myths. September's syllabus synced. His labyrinths. My void's seminar. Cross-listed for overlap. Students' blurred lines. Office hours joint. Professors Caldwell Harper? One quipped. Power duo. October's launch lit the lit scene. Housing Works at Housing Works bookstore. Packed with allies and alumni. Readings rippled tears. Applause. A trans poet gripping my arm. Your threads. Mine now. November's kin swelled. Becca's baby shower. Gender neutral, laughter loud. Us uncles-to-be. Dylan cooing over ultrasounds. Jamie Skyped from Cornell Masters. Anthology? Citing in thesis. December's hush. 18th bar mark. Rusty anchor revamped, but spirit same. Mick retired. Successor toasting. To the originals. Whiskey's down, we wandered home. Snowflakes fat. His arm my axis. Legacy, he breathed. Ongoing. 2030's dawn. January. Anthology climbs, TEDx invites. February. Center Reno. Resilience wing. Placus. March. Wit's firm folds, merger myth, his call to consult. Full circle, Dylan emails. Grateful. April. Tour traces. Anthology abroad. London whispers. May pup parade, chaos leash trained. June Pride Zenith, anthology float. Readings rolling. July. Iceland return. Lights loyal. August. Cabin commune. Students summer scribe. September. Classes crescendo. October. Sequel seeds. November. Kin complete. Becca's boy. Named Harper Nod. December. Bar eternal. Napkin vow. Infinite ink. Years stack like city bricks. Cracks gilded, not concealed. Betrayals? Backstories bite. Sharpening stories edge. We human helix. Twist, turn, transcend. Love's not perfection's polish, but persistence's patina. Flawed faces forward, hands held in the hook's wake. In the end or interlude, Dylan sets down his pen one dawn. Loft bathed gold, our rings catching light. Finished. I smile, pulling him close. Just beginning. And the city hums on, witness to our unwritten ever after.